Hi everybody, Diana here, Sew Uncommon. Welcome to my channel. So today's video is all about um, our Build a Quilt system. I want to share with you some of the things we've done this year, some of the things you can do with our Build a Quilt system, because coming up on Monday, we're having a live and we're introducing a whole new set. And so I thought today would be a fun day to just kind of go over some of the things that we've done in 2023 and some of the things that you can do our Build a Quilt set. So stay with me and then we'll get started. Hi everybody, welcome back. So today we're doing a little review of some of the things we've done with Build a Quilt over 2023. This was our first year of doing fully the Build a Quilt system that I've created for quilting, doing patchwork with your embroidery hoop. And it's in your grab. I forgot to grab mine. Sorry. So we do our patchwork with our embroidery hoop. And all you need for this system is a 5x7 hoop, even to make large blocks like the larger ones you see behind me. So it's been a great year. Our group has grown by leaps and bounds here at the channel. We're over 140,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. So I know there are a lot of you that are new, and because Monday, we have a really special live event coming up Monday. I didn't want to add something to your plate. However, I did want to talk to you about, I'm grabbing it right here, the special block that I created when we hit our 100,000 subscribers. And that was this block right here. It's a super simple block. I call it Celebrate with Sprinkles. And it's a super simple block. And at the end of my video, I'm going to show you where you can get a lot of these patterns and the design sets for free, and where you can get our Build a Quilt system, which is going to be on a special price, a very special price. We're marking it down 50% for this holiday weekend. I'll tell you about that at the end of the video as well. So here we are, 100,000 subscriber square. So this is actually the square. You saw this if you've seen the video. This is the single square that I call sprinkles, because when you put them together in this scenario, you get the idea of sprinkles like on a celebration cake. And so I will link this video at the end of this video so you can give it a watch, because I demonstrate out how to create this block. And all of your patterns will have the templates and everything, so you can see all of that and your step-by-step instructions along as with watching the video. Let's go all the way back to January. And one reason I want to show you these pieces again is because if you don't have your free patterns, you want to get them, and you want to get them in the next like couple of weeks, because at the end of the year, the free block of the month patterns for 2023 will go away. Okay. They might return in a different format later on, but with your Build a Quilt system, you'll always be able to create these kinds of blocks. But the free block of the months are going to go away for the year, or, for a while. And so let's start with what we did in January. I'm not going to show you all the 12 that we did, but let's start with January. This was our game board piece that we created. And this was working only with half square triangles. So if you look up here, this border is made with half square triangles, and the bigger blocks in the center are all made with half square triangles. And that's how we started out the year, because we wanted everyone to start at the same level, whether you've been quilting forever and maybe you've delved into a little patchwork on your embroidery machine through some other systems, or you've never done it before. And I know there are so many of you that have never done it. So we wanted everyone to start on an even playing field, and we wanted to start with the most often used block in quilting, the half square triangle. Or what I've talked about more recently, I call this the mama block of all quilting, because it gets used I bet 95% of the time in every quilt that you make, you'll make at least one half square triangle. So this was our game board. It just reminded me of a game board. I could see like kids making this into a mat, putting it on the floor, and kids like playing, making up their own games with it. And you can see with my fabric, I even used some fabric that had chess pieces and all in it. That was this print right here. So that was January. But I also wanted to share with you throughout the year the idea of star blocks, because star blocks are the blocks that really intrigue most people and inspire most people to do the patchwork. They're so beautiful, and there's so many. I mean, you can see star blocks back here. This block here, um, uh, a friendship star. It's kind of hard to see, but that's what that block is. This is one of our blocks from our quilt along, which we're going to be finishing up this coming um, Sunday. This coming Sunday, on the, let's see, the 3rd of December, we'll be finishing up with the layout and all of our quilt along. And that was one. That is our sawtooth star. That one right there. So simple to make. Just half square triangles and square. So this is also our sawtooth star. This is what we made. I think sawtooth stars, I want to say they were in April, but I could be wrong. I think it was the month of April. And they were so simple. So what we did, we added the solid squares onto the idea of those half square triangles. And in April, we made a bunch of stars. I think we made like 4 different stars. And another one was the inspired star. This one, this particular one right here got made. This was our October breast cancer awareness block. That's the one we made. We used the inspired star. Half square triangles, squares. Super simple to make. Then in one of our other months, we kind of expanded a little bit more by doing not just a normal half square triangle, but we also added in a diamond in a square and a modified half square triangle in this one, the crossover star. Now we're doing a version of a crossover star in our quilt along, but the pattern is a little bit different. In fact, hang on, let me just grab mine and I'll show it to you. I'll show you all of them that we're doing in the quilt along here before we're done. So we're doing the inspired star in the quilt along. So that's like this one and this one, both the exact same. So you can see how they look when they're done in different fabrics, but this one is for the quilt along. But the inspired star, the crossover star, this is the original block that we did back earlier in the year. And then for the quilt along, I changed it a little bit. I changed it up. Instead of doing a diamond and a square and half square triangles on the corner, to make this one come together a little easier, we did solid squares. The diamond and the square became a solid, and the corners became a solid. And we still did a modified half square triangle to make our star. And let's look at the modified. You can see it better on this example than on the original, I think. So with a modified half square triangle, half of it is like your regular half square triangle, but the upper half gets broken into 2 segments. And that's the modification. And when we did modified half square triangles throughout the year, we've done a couple of modifications. And I'll give you a tiny little tip. There is going to be a new set. It's not going to be considered one of our basic sets. It's going to be considered an add-on set that's coming in the first quarter of 2024. That's going to be several different types of modified half square triangles. So what you're doing with Build a Quilt is you're starting with your basics, and we're going to talk about that more here in a little bit. And then you're going to be building into your second set of basics, and that's coming on Tuesday or on Monday when we go live. And then we're going to have add-on sets, And one of those sets are going to be modified half square triangles, because having those modified half square triangles, the idea of the modification really allows you to change your fabric in different ways. Those modifications help you to create different types of shapes. And so I want to make sure that you have a set of these to put in with all of your segments so that you can start creating your quilt patterns that you purchase. You can have all the pieces that you need. So this is the one we did earlier in the year, the crossover star. It's still available out there. And then this is the crossover star from our quilt along. Alrighty. So there was another piece. I forgot what we called this one, to be honest, but you would see it in the picture. Is this one. Now, this one is really fun because we did a diamond in a square, but we changed it up a little bit. Can you see the change in this diamond in a square? That's right. Instead of having four corners that are all the same, we changed this corner right here. And see what that did? It reshaped this block so that the pink fabric is continuous all the way around in kind of a starburst circle. So that's what can happen when we change and modify our blocks. And that's really important in quilting. That's how you get your different shapes and your different pieces. So this one was done, I think this was starburst or something like that. I think that's what we called this one. And in this one, we talked about making a pinwheel block. What's a pinwheel? Just four half square triangles, but it makes the pinwheel depending on the direction that you make them. And with our block that I just did for our 100,000 subscribers, let me see, where have I put it? I know it's right here somewhere. Ah, here it is. It's the same idea with this one. When you put four of these together, depending on how you put your, what I call the sprinkle portion, that's what changes and makes this look random when you put them all throughout your quilts. Isn't that fun? I love it. And so we also talked about making the pinwheel. Now, how we created this pinwheel, though, is look at this. This half square triangle is in another one of the modified half square triangles. So half of it is a solid, but instead of breaking up the other half into two pieces, like we did with the original modified, the double modified gets divided into four segments. So this is another modified half square triangle. And because part of that modification creates that little half square triangle, then you can put four of them together and you get a whole nother pattern, that pinwheel pattern in the center. Isn't that great? I love that. I love this one. This was one of my favorite pieces to make this year. And this crossover star is another one of my favorites. I love it. I think it's really beautiful. So let's talk about real quick our quilt for a second. So started out with the Ohio Star. All four, three of these stars come from the month of April, and then the crossover star comes, I think that might have been February. Don't quote me. But all the information is available on the website, and I'm going to show you that in a bit. But we started out with the Ohio Star. You made four of these. Pretty. These are the fabrics I chose because you need a dark, a medium, and a light. So that's my Ohio Stars. Then we created the Inspired Star. Now, you might know this Inspired Star as the Lemoyne Star or the Hunter Star. This star, and you'll have to go back and watch the video on this one because this star has so many names. It's inspired so many people, and it has so many names that we just called it the Inspired Star. Okay, so that was another block that's in the quilt along. Even though we're coming up on this coming Sunday on the last part of the quilt along videos, it's not too late. information will stay out there for a while. So if you want to grab all of it off the website and get started, please feel free to do so. It's not too late at all. And then we created, of course, our newer version of the inspired, or not the inspired, the crossover star. So that was our another block. And then our other block was this one right here. The sawtooth star. Gosh, I almost couldn't remember what it's called. The sawtooth star. So that's our fourth one. Those are the 4 blocks that are in our quilt along. I kept the quilt along simple for this year only because I know we have so many new people with us, and I wanted everyone to have that satisfaction of making a full quilt at the end of the year. And this quilt will end up being roughly 60 by 60. It's a really good size throw. If you have a bed and you want just like a topper for decorative purposes, this quilt will work out great for that. Okay. Now, another thing we were talking about was the Build a Quilt system. All of these patterns I've showed you so far have been free patterns out on the website. They were blocks of the month this year. But later in the year, we'd been working on this system for about 6 years now. But it finally came together, and we put out our Build a Quilt Basic Block Set 1. Now, this means everything to me. This is the first huge product piece I've worked on to put out, and that's why it took me a long time, because every time I thought I'd get it where I wanted it, no, wasn't quite what I wanted. And so I start over, because in that 6 years, I was learning to digitize. I was learning to think about how I wanted to do these. There are, admittedly, a couple of different systems out in the quilting world where you can patchwork with your embroidery machine. But this system is built by a quilter. And when I created it and digitized this, I thought about quilting from only a quilting perspective. I didn't think about it from a machine embroidery perspective. I didn't think about it as just something else you can do with your embroidery machine. I thought about this, and I call this the 21st century evolution of patchwork quilting. So we're in the 21st century now. We don't have to do everything with our sewing machine. That was a 20th century scenario. We don't have to do our patchwork by hand. That's been centuries before. We can do it with our embroidery machine. Now, on these larger blocks, we do a little bit of the sewing the segments together. These are the segments. We do them on our sewing machine. But the great thing about this is that there are built-in guidelines. So if you've been a quilter for a long time, you know all about the quarter square triangle, or the quarter square seam allowance. And a lot of people have a real problem with that. They hear things like scant quarter inch, a fat quarter inch, a regular quarter inch. They're told, oh, measure it this way and mark it. And it really keeps a lot of people from quilting. But with the Build a Quilt system, you don't need that. A regular sewing foot on your sewing machine is all you need, because there's a guideline built in. And as long as you can follow down that guideline with your needle, you're good. You'll have the perfect seam allowance every time. So in this first system, there are the 3 most often and basic used segment blocks of a quilt. Your square, of course, your half square triangle, right? The mama block, and her little sister, the quarter square triangle, which is in itself, the quarter square triangle is kind of a modified half square triangle, because it's down the center, half of it is 2 colors, and the other half are 2 colors, but flipped. And the nice thing about the quarter square triangle, if you want, because of the way you're making the fabric and the movement of your quilt top, each one of those quarters can be done in a different fabric. And cool, right? So you get all 3 of those, and you get them in 4 sizes each: a 2-inch, a 3-inch, a 4-inch, and a 5-inch finished. So when you're creating them, you don't have to worry about that seam allowance scenario, because all of that gets built in to the piece. I put mine in this binder, and this is something that you might want to do because it's really easy then. If you want part of it, you just take it out and take it over to your cutting table, like your cut sheet. Now mine's in black and white. You can always print it in color, but your cutting sheets. With your cutting sheets, you get placement, where fabric one, where fabric two, or however many fabrics there are. And then you get what you're going to cut for each one. And then excuse me, if they need to be subcut, you'll get that information as well, okay, in the pattern. So you get your cut sheets for each and every one of them, the half square, the quarter square, and the square. And you get your full piecing instructions. Now, these instructions were good, in my opinion, but you're going to love the Build a Quilt 2 basics even more because we've updated these written diagrammed instructions. I've come up with a template now to make sure they're a little bit more uniform even than they were for here. So you're going to love that. You get that. And you get coloring sheets. What's a coloring sheet? Well, a coloring sheet is, let's just look at this one of the inspired or of the crossover star from the quilt along. You get the block, but there's no color in it. Lines, black lines in a coloring book. And why do you do a coloring sheet? Because I say color on the paper first with crayons or pencils before you go and cut your beautiful fabric. Okay? Make sure that you want these colors to be together before you go and cut your fabric. So that's what this is. Have you ever heard in building, measure twice, cut once, so that you don't mistakenly cut it wrong? Well, it's the same thing with our coloring. Color, figure out your design on paper, then cut your fabric or buy your fabric. So you'll get those, you get your written instructions, you get your templates, and with the Build a Quilt Basic Set 1, you get a full how-to video. It's timestamped. So if you want to go to the half square triangle or only to the quarter square triangle piece, you can look at the timestamp and go directly to it. So all of that comes with the Build a Quilt system. Normally, now here's the fantastic part. Normally, the Build a Quilt system retails for $50 for the entire set. But today, let me make sure I get the date right, the 26th. I've been off on my dates because we've had a holiday this week. So I didn't even realize like what day of the week it was for a little while. But for today only, so 24 hours, started at midnight, goes around to midnight. The Build a Quilt Basic Block Set 1 is available. Are you ready? Are you guys ready for this? This is so fantastic. I'm so excited to tell you. We have it on sale, 50% off for 24 hours. You can get the whole system, and the whole system is downloadable. And if for some reason you lose it or whatever, you can re-download, okay? And if you have any concerns with that, we have customer service. We will help you figure out the concerns, okay? Have any. The only thing we can't really help you with is diagnose your individual machine problems because we don't have all of those machines. Different people test these pieces for me on different machines to make sure they work properly. But like I can't give you maintenance help and stuff on all the different machine varieties. But we have help for you. You just send in a notification to us, an email, and I'm going to give you that address here in a little bit, and we'll get back with you ASAP. It's never more than 24 hours, and it's usually just minutes to a couple of hours at the most. And if we're gone or something, then of course we let you know that. But typically we're not gone unless we're in the holidays. And so we're here to help you. Now, let me make something clear. Our digital download purchases are non-refundable because you can't return the downloadable product to us, right? And so it is not refundable under any circumstance. And that just has to be the way it is. That's the way it is in the industry. But never fear. If you have a concern about this, send us your emails in advance. Ask us any question you want to ask us, and we'll talk with you through email. If you even want to get online with us and talk to us on Zoom, I'm willing to do that with you to answer your questions, because I want to make sure before you purchase that you know exactly what's coming and what it can do for you. Okay. And really, this is I love this system. Since I created it, I will be honest, I have not done any traditional patchwork piecing. I only patchwork piece now with my Build a Quilt system. I mean, I created it for that reason, right? So it is available for the 24 hours of the 26th of November for 50% off, which means it's $25. Get it in this 24 hours, because this is the only sale for this individual item that we'll have for the rest of the year. Okay. So I wanted to make sure you knew that. And let me show you something you can make with it. This is a table topper wall hanging that I created. And again, big, beautiful star, that big, beautiful sawtooth star in the center with star beams coming out from it, all created with the Build a Quilt system. Now, these are not, I told you you get 4 sizes. These particular ones, I believe this is the 4-inch finish that I use, yes. These are created with the 4-inch finished half square triangles and blocks. That's how I made this one. And I love it. And because I love the idea of stars, I even quilted it with a star pattern on my embroidery machine. So there's so much you can make. And you know that throughout the year, later in the year, I created the Lori Holt Kaleidoscope quilt. Well, I rejigged it a little bit and created it with my Build a Quilt system. And now I have a big, beautiful 60 by 60 kaleidoscope quilt that I did by doing patchwork with my embroidery machine. Isn't it fun? It's great. So please get your basic block set one now for this 24 hours. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you, I put out a shorts video, but I don't know how many of you all have seen it. We've got over, like I said, over 140,000 folks subscribed, and you may have missed the short. I'll plug it at the end here too. I'll link it. I'll link that, and I'll link the one about, what was the one I was going to link? Oh, shoot. I told you I'd link another one. I'll link that one as well, though. I got it written. So I'll link those at the end. But Monday, so today is the 26th. Tomorrow, the 27th of November at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going live, and we are going to bring to you Build a Quilt Basic Block Set. That's right, set 2. It's here, everybody. Isn't that exciting? I know some of you have been waiting for it, because some of you know that one of the new segment pieces is going to be the Flying Geese unit. And I'm not going to show you anything right now, because we're going to show you all of that tomorrow at the live. And just like with our Build a Quilt Basics Set 1, you will get written instructions, you will get templates, you will get coloring sheets, all your digital files. The blocks in the Basic Set 2 are going to be 3, 4, and 5-inch finished. The 2-inch, I took the 2-inch out because for these, it really wouldn't be as needed, and we fill those in sometimes in free patterns. So I've done 3, 4, and 5-inch sizes for this block set 2, and you're going to get the Flying Geese unit. You're going to get the Diamond in the Star, and we've already done Diamond in the Square. We've already done Diamond in the Square this year, but you only have it in one size. Well, now you're going to get it in 3 sizes, and we're also doing the split rail. And you may or may not know what the split rail is. It's a super simple block made with rectangles, and I'm going to show you like the very first block that you can make with your split rails, and it's all done in split rail. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you that. And are you ready? Drum roll. During the live event, and you have to be at the live event in order to be in the running. During the live event, we are giving away not one, but two. We're giving away 2 free copies, full workable copies of the Build a Quilt system, the brand new system. We're going to give 2 free copies away to 2 lucky random winners who are in the chat. You'll be able to watch the chat, the live chat here on Facebook, here on YouTube at Sew in Common. It'll also be live on our Facebook page, Sew in Common. Let me show you that. So Facebook is Sew in Common. It'll be there and it will be here as well. And I'm so excited. In this, you will also be getting a full how-to video, just like we did with Build a Quilt 1. And those full videos are only available to the people that own these set systems, okay, because they're made to go directly with them. Some of that information might be something you already know from doing another one of our free blocks or something that we talked about in the year, but you'll get the full how-to video with the timestamps and everything on it. Are you guys as excited as I am? I'm so excited. My husband's like, you're bouncing off the walls about this. And I said, I know, but I can't believe we're already over 140,000 subscribers and we're putting out our second basic set. So please join us on Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time here in the U.S. for our big live for Build a Quilt Block Basics Part 2. So the Basics 1 and the Basics 2 are our basic sets, I think. Any sets coming down the road are going to be add-on sets, or they're going to be a build quilt set where you can build a whole quilt with the pieces in that set. And like we did, I believe it was last month, where if you own the Build a Quilt system, you'll just need to purchase the add-on, which is basically all the instructions, templates, and things like that. And then if you own the Build a Quilt system for those blocks, or if you don't own them, then you can order a full pattern, which will have those pieces. But trust me, in the long run, it is going to pay off to have the full sets, because all of our blocks in 2024 are going to come from block sets 1 and 2, and then we might have some other like completely different types of blocks coming out that are part of quilts and things like that. But we just got so much planned for 2024. I just can't believe it's 2022. I meant 2024. There's so much going on, and I have not slept in days trying to get everything finished up. So, alrighty, everybody, enough. I wanted to come to you today and just talk about that. Now, let me tell you where you can get these free patterns that I've shown you. So our blocks of the month, and where you can get your Build a Quilt system at half off is, of course, at our website, www.sewincommon.com. You can pay via PayPal, or when you go to checkout, it will also let you pay via credit card, okay? Remember, if you have questions about the system before you buy it, please send me an email. I'm ready to answer your questions before the 24 hours runs out, so that you can make that purchase if you want to, if you have those questions. But all available at sewincommon.com. Now, if you need to contact us, please send your emails to support@sewincommon.com. Be very specific in what you're asking in your question. Don't just say, is this a flip and stitch system? Well, yes, it is, but it's not like any other flip and stitch system that you use, because I created this one from scratch with the mind of a quilter, right? So that you're not doing a lot of extra stitching. You're not getting thick because of stabilizer. And remember, unlike other systems, we use wash-away stabilizer for this. So we have a video on that. I'll link that below because I have two others that I'm going to link at the end. I'll link the stabilizer videos below because it's important if you don't want thickness and bulk in your quilts and in your seams that you use a wash-away stabilizer. No one else has really thought about that because they think about it more as doing machine embroidery. Well, this is not machine embroidery per se. This is patchwork quilting with the use of an embroidery machine. Okay, so I know it's a slight difference, but it really is a difference, and you'll love this system. You'll be pleased with it. So send those questions to support@sewincommon.com. If you want to post your photographs of anything you've made with the system, we'd love to see it. Any of your blocks of the month, anything like that, please do so at our Facebook page, Sew in Common. When we go live tomorrow, you'll also be able to watch from the Facebook page if you prefer that. All right, everybody. One last thing I want to request from you. If you have not already, please join our Sew in Common family. We'd love to have you. There's always room for more people, and we would love to have you with us, involved, asking your questions, making your beautiful quilts. And so please click the subscribe button and please click the like and share. Please like and share as well. That really means a great deal to us. That tells us that you are interested, you like what we're doing. And it also helps YouTube to know that those videos should get shown more because people are interested in them. And we always want to make sure that this is out to anyone and everyone who wants to do patchwork quilting, because that's really why we created it. We want anyone and everyone that wants to do patchwork quilting in the 21st century to be able to do it. So please subscribe, like, and share. We appreciate it so much. And as I say before at the end of all of our videos, and you know I truly mean it, I want you to go and sew like beautiful. Make beautiful quilts, send them out into the world, and make our world a more beautiful, happy place. Until tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Bye for now, everybody.